Hi, Broadway.com. Really looking forward to this week ahead. It's going to be very exciting. We have the Sitzprobe, which is my favourite day of the rehearsal process because it's the first time we hear the orchestra play with us. And there's a 41-piece orchestra in Sunset Boulevard, so it's going to sound incredible. I'm very excited about that. We're also into tech this week, so we're going to have a lot of hanging around time, probably being silly while we're waiting for lights to be moved and stuff like that. And I'm heading to Broadway Con to speak with Seth Rudetsky for his Seth Speaks radio show towards the end of the week. So it's lots to look out for and lots of mischief to be had. Hope you enjoy it. So here we are at Carroll Music Studios for one of my favourite days in the rehearsal process, which is the Sitzprobe. We kind of pronounce it Sitzprobe, but I'm going to have some fun trying to get people to pronounce this and work out what it means. It actually means sitting test, literally, in German. We'll see if anyone can decipher that one. Good morning, Preston.
Good morning.
How do you pronounce this word?
Sitzprobe.
Sorry?
Sitzprobe.
Oh, okay. And what does it mean?
You sit and you probe around the music. You know, right?
Yeah.
I pronounce it Sitzprobe.
Oh.
But if we're here,
An educated man.
listen, I had to take that German language. I was a singer in college.
Oh.
Yes.
And what does it mean?
At university.
What does it mean?
It means it's a sitting rehearsal.
We'll give him that.
Sitzprobe. Probe.
Okay. What's the literal translation?
The literal, I think, is sitting and testing. So we're going to be testing.
He's nailed it.
Sitzprobe.
Okay. And what does it mean?
Well, it means to sit and probe. It's German, but it's in America. The Sitzprobe is when the cast members of the show join the musicians to hear the score with the orchestra for the first time. I don't mind the
And we can't wait, right?
I don't mind the sitzing. It's the probing that hurts. That's what I found.
Hi, Broadway.com. We are here with Broadway.com at our press launch in front of the amazing stage at the Palace Theatre. So we've just finished the press junket, which was a lot of fun, and I'm now back in my dressing room with Fred Johansson. How was that, Fred?
That was great, but I think you need to call your mother.
I think I need to call my mother. So on the camera, we've got my amazing dresser, Philip. Say hi, Philip.
Hi, Philip.
Philip, do you want to hear a joke?
I would love to.
Okay. Well, man walks into a bar.
Oh.
You're not saying.
What's Beethoven's favorite fruit?
You're like, Preston, could you mean stage management or whatever? And
Banana.
everybody knows everything on it. And so everybody's like, Preston, we got you.
Banana. So we are here with our amazing designer Tracy, and it's her birthday! Happy birthday!
Thank you.
Mwah.
Thank you. Why don't you tell her your joke?
Well, as a special birthday treat, I'm going to tell you a joke, Tracy. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit?
I don't know.
Banana.
You know who's going to love that is my nephew.
So we've just done our first run of the show, first run of Act 1 with the orchestra, who are amazing. And the noise you can hear now is the sound of water going through the pipes. They've obviously turned the heating on. It's very noisy. And so now I've just had some food. I'm pretty wiped. So I'm going to stick my headphones on and have a little rest for 20 minutes. So I'm just heading off to Broadway Con to talk with Seth Rudetsky about the show and have some fun. Here we are at Broadway Con, very excited. Very excited. And here we are with Eva Noblezada.
Very excited.
Very excited. She's got pretzels. What more do you need, Eva?
What's that? What?
Joe. I feel like you first played Artie, is that true? Am I crazy? I did see that, because I was like, I remember reading that being like, why was he Artie in that joke? So where were you Artie?
We did, for BBC Radio 2, we did 2 performances in Cork Opera House in Ireland, with Michael Ball playing Jokulis and Petula Clark playing Desmond. And I was Artie in that production. But that was like 10 years ago. So
And now you finally graduated to Joe.
Yes, I've upgraded.
Okay, so as a London person, are you like, one day I'll be on Broadway, or were you like, what does Broadway mean? What's a commute? Go. So the callback, people.
Yeah.
Hashtag callback.
Yeah, I mean, it's every actor's dream to make it to Broadway, I think, especially musical theatre, because it's the home of musical theatre. So, yeah, I mean, you know, in my wildest dreams, I was like, yeah, one day it'd be nice to play on Broadway, but, you know, there's hoping.
And then how did you find out that it was who told you you're going to go to Broadway?
Well, we were talking about it before we finished the show in London. We did a production of this at the Coliseum in London for 5 weeks. And on the first Sitzprobe, the first time we sang with the orchestra, the producers came up to Glenn Close and said, we really need to do this on Broadway. And she kind of went, well, I'm not doing it without him. And she put her arm around me, and I was like,
oh my God,
this is so exciting. And then it was just like forgotten about. Like no one talked about it. You know, it was like Broadway is clearly not happening. And then we were talking. Then it kind of came into existence again in conversation. But I didn't get excited because I've been disappointed so many times in this career. It's okay. Things are okay right now. So it's sorry for it. And then I was in LA. Just on a holiday for a couple of days out there, and Glenn rang me and said, we're going to Broadway! So we've just been chatting with Seth Rosetsky at Broadway Con, and we were just on our way out, and this lovely young lady, Abigail, just said to me,
I love your vlogs!
my life is made. So in my series of firsts, this is the first time I will be coming to Central Park. I am having lunch here at Tavern on the Green. I can't see if you can see that. It's this camera. I'm having lunch here at Tavern on the Green with the amazing Janie Dee, British actress, multi-award winning actress, who's a good friend of mine. So looking forward to meeting up with her. Okay, hi. So I'm going to try and answer your questions that you've been tweeting in. Thanks so much. Keep tweeting them in to hashtag Let's Have Lunch, Michael Xavier UK. I'm going to answer these within 1 minute. So I'll set the timer and answer as many as I can. Okay, here we go. Ryan Pendleton. Ryan Pendleton has asked, in your opinion, is Joe Gillis a victim who meant well, or the willing architect of his own misery who lost control? Good question, Ryan. The answer to that is the victim of circumstance. He doesn't want to end up getting caught in the web with Norma Desmond, but he ultimately does. Sophie and Tash. Hi, Sophie and Tash. Do you plan to see any other Broadway shows, and if so, what? Yes, I want to see Dear Evan Hansen. Apparently that's meant to be fantastic. And also I'd like to see In Transit, which is apparently meant to be like Love Actually, the musical. No Vacation Required has asked, toughest part of the show. The toughest part of the show for me is Sunset Boulevard, the song Sunset Boulevard. It's in 5/8. I have to take my clothes off at the same time. I have to pour a drink. I have to hit the top note while sitting down on a sun lounger. And the timer is done. Send your questions in and I'll answer more of them this week. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's vlog. I had a lot of fun again videoing all this. And don't forget to send in your questions again to hashtag Let's Have Lunch, and my Twitter handle is @MichaelXavierUK. So send those questions in and I'll do my best to answer as many as I can. And I look forward to seeing you all next Thursday. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.